there have been terrible things that have happened to a lot of our companies. We've fallen in love with products and those things have changed. I'm not trying to dismiss any of that, right? But at the end of the day, I think the community is asking the wrong question. It's not about this individual business. I mean, again, I appreciate that we fall in love and care about these companies, right? But the longer term project isn't about one particular brand, right? The question that we need to be asking everyone involved is, what are you going to do next? Now that you have had the opportunity to win the Super Bowl with this business, are you going to provide an opportunity to have meaningful conversations about what you've learned? Are you going to invest in businesses? Are you going to talk about it's the wrong question is being asked too often. And again, I'm not trying to dismiss any of the concerns that rightfully are there, but I'm super excited to know that you and your family were able to build a mega brand, right? But I'm more excited to see what happens now that you're in a position to go and amplify that impact even further.
That right there is part of the ultimate goal. And so now it's you are blessed with a vision, you work the model, you grow the model, you scale it, you exit. Now what happens? Now I'm able to do what? Do things that I was not able to do yesterday. Do things that my parents, my grandparents, our ancestors, our communities were able to do, right? Deploy capital and invest in us and help us, give us wisdom, give us expertise, so on and so forth, right? And also, as I think about normalizing scale businesses, what am I able to do? Tap into the thesis of today's conversation, the gathering code, because now we gather. And we're gathering as it relates to a conversation around wealth and shifting the narrative. For example, I was just in a room a couple of days ago in DC at this event, Goldman Sachs event. And it was called the Family Founders Wealth Summit. I was angry for a moment because I'm the only one there.
Absolutely.
And it's like, it's hard to explain to us if you're not in that moment, if you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah. And I'm sitting here like, we gotta gather. We gotta.
That ain't a big gathering.
You understand?
But see, the reality of the situation is that, like, if you were to host that gathering, that actually isn't a big gathering, and that's the problem, right? There's not a lot of people that you can call for any sort of meaningful conversation about what it's like to build a really big company, right? At my size, I don't have a ton of people that I can call and talk about that process. Look, I said earlier about Atlanta having the largest income inequality gap in the country. I think what I hope folks see in that is that there has to be a wealth transfer, right? Or we have to grow the pie. One of those two things has to happen so that more folks in our community have access to the resources that they need. Well, there's only two ways to make money in America. You have to invest in something or you have to start something.
That's it.
There's only two paths.
That's it.
So y'all took...
And notice you didn't say, and it's no shade to the ordinary workers, and that's fine, but you didn't touch on the 9 to 5. You said either you're going to invest in something or you're going to grow something.
There is a pathway through a company to have that be the invest piece. If you're working at a company and you're getting stock options and you're able to continue, but you have to be invested in making sure that wealth is being built. But the other way, and the way that we have seen in this country that gets to, frankly, larger amounts of capital most times, is that you have to start something, right? And that's not everybody's journey. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it is, but if we generally agree, right, that fact is true, then examples like yours, again, we're asking the wrong question. It's not about your exit. It's about what are you going to do now that you have, right? And where we should be upset is if we don't see you doing any of those things that would be beneficial to the community.
Exactly.
The exit itself, congratulations. I'm excited for you. I hope that all of that time, effort, and energy paid off, and y'all are happy about the outcome. Assuming that that's true, now what happens? And again, we don't have that part.
The real work begins, you know, and
Yeah.
and that's important, man. As we think about redirecting the conversations, you know. And one thing I want to ask you is, we think, you know, we're in the fourth quarter and getting ready for 2026. And what do you think the environment for Black investors in particular will look like next year?
I hate to say it, I'm an optimist, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not overly optimistic about what we're about to see moving forward, because the folks in our community that have money, it's very interesting when you start talking about companies needing to go raise capital. It's like the same 10 names everybody will say.
Right.
Well, have you talked to Oprah? What about Tyler Perry?
Right.
And it's like, look, Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Robert Smith can't fund everything that we need. Like, unfortunately, that room is small.
Yeah.
And relatively speaking to the capital need that's out there, even that group doesn't have the resources to fund all of what we need funded.
Yeah.
I gotta say this one other thing too, because I think it's I hope a reflection that people will have. When a company, by definition, your company, gets to become the largest company in a category, right? Unfortunately, there aren't options there. By definition, you are the largest company in a category.
Mm-hmm.
So where do big Black companies go?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you're going to have to go to a company that's larger than what you are. But I just said you're the largest company in your category. You're BET, right? It is only Viacom that can buy you because you're BET. There's nobody bigger than you. So we're in a moment right now from an investment standpoint, getting back to your question, where we are going to have to part ways with full ownership of some of our stuff, because by definition, they are the largest thing in our community that we have. And the only group of available people that we can then go talk to probably doesn't look like us.
Right.
But again, the next question is, what are you going to do with the exit once it occurs? But I'm not optimistic about what we're about to see, because the liquidity isn't there, especially in a tough market.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm encouraging every entrepreneur that I come across to be focused on is, how do you get to a customer? I know that funding is it's what's talked about the most, and it's needed in order to make a business a reality in most cases. But if you can get to a customer, the conversation that you're going to have with a potential investor will be stronger.